In other news, the USA is still pressing China on its human rights violations. For more, we have Harvard graduate Kevin Rupi. Kevin?
Yes, it is, Hayden. Human rights is a huge issue in China. There's currently a lot of tension between the United States and China over that problem.
So Kevin, can you tell us about China's issues with freedom of speech?
Yeah, freedom of speech is a huge issue in China. It's one of the main parts of human rights that are an issue. The 1982 Constitution, it guarantees free speech, but the Chinese government, it uses its own state power to imprison those who are critical and critical of the government.
More recently, China hosted the 2009 Olympics in Beijing. Do you think you might be able to tell us how China cleaned up their act?
Yes, Hayden. The Olympics, that was a huge issue in China this past year, the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. China has acknowledged the need to keep advancing the human rights issue. And, for example, a large number of foreign protesters were deported from China during the Games. Others were detained until the closing ceremony and then were deported, which, let's face it, isn't that much better. But these permits were not perfect. There was a conspiracy. These two elderly Chinese women were reported to have been sentenced to a re-education through labor for having applied for the permit. So this system did not work during the Olympic Games. As a lawyer for the Chinese government puts it, for Chinese petitioners, if their protest applications were approved, it would have led to a chain reaction of others seeking to voice their problems as well. And as an academic for the New York Times observes, when you have guests coming over for dinner, you clean up the house and tell the children.
That's very fascinating. Can you explain to us China's issues with movement, particularly regarding Mao's residency system?
Along with freedom of speech, freedom of movement is also a very hot issue for human rights in China. In 1958, Mao set up a residency permit defining where people could work and classified an individual as a rural or urban worker, so that a worker seeking to move from the country to an urban area to take up non-agricultural work would have to apply through relative bureaucracies. The number of workers allowed to make such moves are tightly controlled. People who work outside the authorized zone would not qualify for stuff like grain rations, employee-provided housing, or healthcare. That's how hard the stuff is down in China.
Now, we know China's long-standing history and affiliation to the Communist Party. Can you please explain Chinese political freedom in more detail?
Yeah, Hayden, the political freedom is a very big issue. The People's Republic of China is known for its intolerance of organized dissent towards the government. Dissident groups are routinely arrested and imprisoned, often for long periods of times without trial. That would not be fair. That would not be healthy in the U.S. The Washington Times reported in 2000 that although migrant laborers play an important part in spreading wealth in China, they are treated like second-class citizens by a system so discriminatory and is compared to the apartheid. For example, the word democracy is banned from all chat rooms in China. That's how intense the government is there.
Now, Kevin, what issues is China experiencing as regards to freedom of religion?
Yeah, religion is a very big issue in China. During the Cultural Revolution, particularly the destruction of the Four Old campaigns, religious affairs of all types were persecuted and discouraged by communists, with many religious buildings looted and destroyed. Since those times, there has been efforts to repair, reconstruct, and protect historical and cultural religious sites, but the United States Department of State criticizes it in its Human Rights Report of 2005, which you mentioned, Hayden, that not enough has been done to repair or restore those damaged sites. Now, during the Cultural Revolution, right now, and I just repeat.
I told you, Shrews, I don't want to play that game. No. No.
If you're just tuning in, we're discussing Chinese policy regarding human rights. And now, for a more in-depth philosophical look, we have the local philosophy teacher, Andrew Bickford. Andrew?
So a human right is a right guaranteed by sort of the definition of what it means to be human. And so it's inalienable and it's shared by all human beings. So I guess a human right is like a right to autonomy, right? Self-control. And a violation of that human right would be wrongful imprisonment. Or I mean, then it's sort of like society intersecting with human rights. But I guess that's the gist of it.
Yo, but hey,
And finally, hello, Angel.
David, we need your help.
Can I harass you?
No,
Do you like human rights?
What do you think?
Do you like human rights?
Pretend that
What do you think about human rights? I'm oppressing you.
Human rights?
Oppression. Back up.
they're right. What?
What? I don't want to be on this.
Alright, yo, hey.
I'm pressing you.
And yo, do you know how to trim a video?
Shut up, Rupi.
Hayden, do you know how to trim a video? This is for editing. Just trim the video.
Get off.
What,
Hayden,
don't you
start
hold on a second. I'm harassing you.
Hayden, start working. This is due next level, man. Hayden, this is due.
I'm getting footage.
We have enough footage.
Shut up,
Do you know how much
Rupi.
time
You don't
you
count
cursed
as a
at me?
human
Yo,
being.
I got you cursed at me 100 times already.